Hi, it's Jan Beta, and I've been looking for an old school VHS VCR for quite a while now, and recently I found two of them on the side of the road. So naturally I picked them up and I'm going to take a look at them today and see if they work or if I can make them work. So here's the two VCRs I picked up, literally on the side of the road. It was raining the day before, so these got rained on probably. I'm not sure if they work. They are pretty dirty, but they look intact otherwise. These are good brand models too. This is a Sony SLV SE100 and this is a Philips VR475. I think these are relatively late models in the VHS realm, so probably they are pretty good. These are not professional grade ones or anything like that. These are just home consumer market models. Still pretty decent to find these, and I'm super happy that I found these. Yeah, we are just going to have a look. I'm going to clean these up and have a look inside. I think I want to start with the Philips one, because that looks in better condition than the Sony one. So the first step is going to be cleaning both of the VCRs from the outside. I have some soapy water here and a microfiber cloth. As I said, these were found on the side of the road. They were sitting under a tree, so they have some dirt on them. But it's not that bad actually. I think they have been rained on, but these cases are pretty much closed. They were sitting upright, and nothing should have gotten in there to damage the electronics, I hope. Still some crud on here. The Sony was sitting on top, so yeah, it got more dirt from the tree. And the Sony has the power cord cut off, so we're at least going to have to replace that. Okay, that was some kind of initial wipe down. They don't look in bad condition really. Let me take some seconds to thank the sponsor for this video, PCBWay, my favorite manufacturer of prototype PCBs of all kinds. They deliver excellent quality and have very good service. The delivery time is super fast and I highly recommend them. So check out the link in the video description if you want your own PCBs, circuit boards made, and consider PCBWay as a very good option. Back to the VCRs. Cleaned the Philips and somewhat dried it, and it actually doesn't look that bad. It has some scratches and things like that from regular use probably, but other than that it looks pretty intact. So I'm going to have a look inside and see if the mechanics and the electronics look decent enough. And of course this has Torx screws to prevent people from tinkering, I guess. But I have Torx screwdrivers. It should be 4 screws, and then the top cover should come off. It's clipped in on the back side, I think. Yeah, kind of. Ah, there we go. Okay. Ah, that looks surprisingly clean. That's good. Okay, spoiler alert, I don't know anything about VCRs, and people who know their VCRs are probably going to laugh at me. But yeah, I can see that this looks super clean from the inside. There's some dust around the back panel, which has the cooling vents, obviously, but that's just normal, regular dust, I guess. No problems cleaning that out. Here's the fuse. That's the mains fuse. And I'm going to give that a quick check with my multimeter. See if it has continuity. Let's see. Yep, fuse is good. That's a really good sign. So power supply in this one's probably not catastrophically broken. I'm going to remove some of the dust with some compressed air. But there's very little dust. Unlike the Sony, this has a detachable power cable, so I'm going to find me one of these 8 shape power cables. I have no idea what these are called in technical terms, but yeah, you know what I mean. These connectors here, standard connector for 2-prong power cable. I'm going to find me one of those. And I think there's nothing that looks very broken. The electronics look good, capacitors are not bulging. It does look pretty decent, so I'm just going to try to power this on. Nothing much to lose because I found this in the trash, literally. So yeah, let's see. Found one. Of course, I have a stash of power cables of all kinds. I'm giving this some juice. Oh, and it's actually moving. And it is displaying something like a clock. Don't know if you can see that. But yeah, let's turn it on. Push play. Oh, okay. That seems to work. I can switch channels. Neat. Okay. Of course, obviously, I don't have a cassette in there. Power, standby. It's not a real power button, it's a standby button. This is from the era where things would just go into standby and not power off. So you could power them on with the remote. That's pretty promising. I'm going to hook this up to a television. Obviously, as a retro computer enthusiast and a hoarder, kind of, I still have a nice SCART cable to hook this up to a SCART television. So standby didn't do anything. That's probably just an off switch. But if I push play, this should spring into life. Hey! And it actually asked for a cassette, I think. Let's see if we can switch channels. There's nothing on these channels, obviously. Keine Kassette. That means no cassette. Oh, and this is a pretty sophisticated one that if you don't have a signal, it just switches the output off, it seems. Which in this case is a bit distracting. But it seems, yeah, you saw the TV snow there. It seems that this is working. So here's what's in here. And as you can see, the mechanism is quite intricate. We have our tape holding mechanism, and this actually slides in. The door on the video cassette opens and the tape is pulled by these little metal rods over this spindle, which is the read-write head drum. And there is an erase head that's over here, and we have our sound and I think tracking head here. And this here is the capstan with the pinch roller. So what we're going to do is to clean the heads on this drum. There's actually 2 heads on this drum. So this actually spins. And these little holes there that you can see, there's our heads. This drum spins. And there's 2 heads on here on opposing sides. And you don't want to clean this with a Q-tip. You can, basically we have to clean all the parts that have the tape running through them or over them. And this head, there's a special method because these little read-write heads, it's super easy to misalign them if you use something that can get caught in there. They are protruding a tiny little bit over this drum. The tape is running here, and as you can see they are at an angle. That's because the tape is written and read in like diagonal sections. That's a pretty neat feature of these, but this also makes them pretty unreliable at times because everything has to be synced up in a perfect manner so that the tape can be written and read from correctly. So the tape runs over here, things are written diagonally on the tape while this spins, and of course the speed of this drum has to line up, the tape speed has to line up, and everything has to be perfectly in sync. There's also this little nubbin here. That is actually our automatic head cleaning mechanism, and this, once you insert or remove a tape, this just contacts the heads, and it's supposed to scrape away some of the dust. On some VCRs this is like a sponge that usually is super worn out. On this one it's just a soft, I think, silicone wheel. Yeah, we can clean this and it should actually clean our heads. This looks pretty dirty, but I suppose it's better than a sponge actually. If you find one of the sponges in a VCR, not all of them have an automatic head cleaning mechanism, so some of them you're just not going to find anything like this. But some of them there's a sponge and that's usually pretty dirty or worn out. You can try to clean it or just remove it. While this spins, this is going to briefly contact this for one turn, I think, and then clean the heads while they are spinning past this. I'm going to show you how you clean these heads without damaging them. So I'm just using regular paper and I'm soaking this in some alcohol from one side, and then that's a bit much. And then I contact the head and keep it straight and push down with my finger very gently. Turn this by hand. And you should be able to feel the slight protrusion of the heads there. And I spin this drum with my finger carefully. You don't want to apply too much force, just give it kind of some spins and you're going to see some dirt on the paper afterwards, if the head was dirty at all. I think this one probably isn't very dirty. But this is the way you can clean these manually without misaligning the heads or ripping them. If you damage one of the heads, that's pretty much the death sentence for these video recorders. And as you can see, I got some dirt off there. So I guess I'm going to unplug this and lubricate the moving parts with some silicone grease and some silicone oil. I'm also going to clean like the pinch roller, which is this part here, I think, and the capstan. Yeah, we're going to see. I'm going to use some alcohol, some Q-tips, and some patience on this. There's some parts that have a bit of dust on them, but overall, as I said, this looks in amazing condition. Yeah, this is going to take some time. I'm going to put some silicone grease on these worm gears and things like that. The silicone grease they used previously was red, so it's pretty easy to see which parts need the grease. Let's try cassette. I actually own a couple of VHS tapes still, but they are all more or less invaluable recordings of my old band and things like that, so I don't want to risk ruining them. And instead I went on eBay and looked for some cheap VHS tapes that I liked. I actually found this Star Wars collection, which is pretty nice, for €4. So if I ruin these, they are not very collectible. I think there's probably a million or a couple of millions out there of these exact ones. German version, I think these are pre-special edition, which is pretty nice. But other than that, these are pretty worthless, literally, because I only paid €4 for them. Still don't want to ruin them, because I kind of like the idea of having Star Wars on VHS, but we're going to see. Let's start with Episode 4. Ah, VHS cassettes. Okay, let's see if the mechanism works. Yeah. And it should autoplay. Or no, it doesn't autoplay. But yeah, it inserted the tape. This is actually quite a sophisticated mechanism. I think the mechanism is also the reason why these fail so frequently. Yeah, it looks pretty good at this point, so let's see if it actually plays the tape. Okay, Okay, audio seems to work. We somewhat get a picture, but yeah, only very, very briefly. We can track manually. Yeah, but this is probably not how this is supposed to look. Yeah. I'm going to try to clean the head some more and see if that fixes anything. The speed the tape runs at seems to be good, so I think the belts that are underneath this mechanism are still intact. The spindle, the drum rotates and it seems to work fine, but we don't get a proper picture output. So maybe that's the reason this one got discarded in the first place. The sound actually runs at the correct speed, so that's a good sign. And we get a proper picture output from the VCR, but I think the head drum, or at least one of the heads, is misaligned. Probably, maybe somebody tried to clean this previously and didn't do a good job. Maybe I misaligned it with my careful cleaning. I'm not sure, but this clearly isn't working correctly. So I tried some more and I tried to manually do some tracking. There are these push buttons here that you can do some tracking corrections with on the fly while a cassette is playing. But yeah, I didn't get a proper picture output from this one. So I guess my heads are somewhat misaligned, broken, I'm not sure. This doesn't really work correctly. It's still useful to have this as an external RF modulator, so you can have a SCART input and have an RF output from this to connect it to older televisions and things like that. Or the other way around, if you have something that only outputs RF signal, you can also hook it up to this one and have a SCART output. That should work no problems whatsoever. I think that the whole picture processing unit in this is still intact. The RF modulator probably is as well, but the VCR portion isn't. So this is kind of a lost cause. It's impossible to find new drums to replace this, and it's also, I think, it's way out of my scope to replace these heads. I'm not sure. I don't even want to try. This is a trash pick after all, and I don't have anything to lose. If this was a high-end model VCR, I probably would look for a replacement head drum. But yeah, on this one, probably going to live with that and maybe use it as an RF modulator kind of unit. Bummer, but yeah, worth a try, I guess. And I think I showed you how this basically works. There's not much more I know about these myself. They look kind of disturbing at first glance because there's so many intricate things that can fail and so many mechanical things that have to work together in a kind of nice ballet kind of way. But usually these are really reliable if it wasn't for the heads misaligning. So I think that's what happened on this unit. The sound actually works correctly. Everything else seems to work, but we don't get a proper picture output. So yeah, that's not good. Let's put this aside and look at the other one, I guess. This has Philips screws. Yay! Even though it's a Sony and not a Philips. And the Philips had Torx. It should pretty much be the same procedure. 4 screws. So, okay. This looks very similar, obviously, although it has a way beefier power supply, which is this one here. This is a lot bigger than the one we had in the other unit. Let's see if I can see any broken parts from here. Power cord on this one has just been cut off, so I think I want to just solder on a new one to here. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can salvage this strain relief. Nice connector. Sony there. Oh, there's the fuse. Let's check the fuse. So I'm basically doing the same as with the other one, checking the fuse before I do anything else. If the fuse is blown, that would indicate a severely damaged power supply that we would have to fix beforehand, I guess. Fuse is good. I'm just going to solder a new power cord onto this. I have this power cord that I salvaged from somewhere that has a strain relief on there, so I might be able to fit this where the other one went and just go with this. Might be a neat solution. Does this fit in here? Oh, it does. It somewhat does fit. Okay, so I can probably just use this one. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clip this, solder this onto there, and then go from there. I don't want to get rid of this nice connector. I'm also going to add some heat shrink tubing for good measure. And I'm going to tin the cable ends and then put them together. Okay, this should just plug in here like so. And yeah, can use some cable tying later on. But we should have a connection to the mains now again. Yeah, so I couldn't see anything really bad on the inside from this visual inspection, except for some dust that I removed with some compressed air. So I guess I'm just going to plug this in and see what it's doing. Oh, okay. Sprung to life. Program 1. And then it turns off again. Turning this on. Okay. Yeah, well that's, I guess, another one that is at least working thus far. I'm going to hook it up to the television. Smart engine. I hope it's not too smart, so it outsmarts me. Okay, turning this on with the television set connected. And it's outputting a picture. That's a good sign. We get a blue screen. Yeah, and this also turns off the TV signal and just turns into a blue screen if it doesn't get a TV signal. And it won't get a TV signal here no matter what I do. The analog television has been turned off in Germany for quite some years now. So this probably has an analog receiver in there, as these things tend to have. I'm just going to do the same kind of head cleaning on this one. And turn this for quite a while to remove the remaining dirt on here. And you don't want to move your finger up and down because that might misalign the heads. Yeah, we got some off there. And this one has one of these sponges that I can just pull this off. Yeah. I think I want to soak this in alcohol, or even better still, I can just turn this around, I think. Twist it like inside out. So I twisted this inside out. I'm still going to soak it in a bit of alcohol. Just twisted this and I'm going to put it back on this roller. So we have some automatic head cleaning after all. Hope this doesn't dissolve or anything like that, but usually it shouldn't. Just kind of washing this in alcohol. Yeah, this looks way better than before. That's pretty nice. So we're going to put that back on that roller. Yep. That should be that. Automatic head cleaning back in place. More cleaning efforts are being taken. And more lubricating efforts. Yeah, let's try to put a tape in there, I guess, and see if it plays back. Yay! Neat! And yeah, as you can see, this has this bezel here over the cassette mechanism. But head is spinning, everything seems to be hunky-dory, and we get a picture output from this. I like this one a lot better anyway, because it's a Sony. Yep. And the picture is super clear, actually. That's a good sign. I really, really like that. Tracking. I can adjust the tracking. Make it look even better. That looks great. Does it eject properly? How do I eject? Oh, eject. It has a separate eject button. Nice! And it has a nice display of the rotating cassette in there as well. I like it. Yeah, the motor is a bit loud, but it appears to work. That's good. So the thing is, I think I need a remote control for this. Usually you can find those on eBay pretty easily. That shouldn't be much of a problem, hopefully. Yeah, the eject mechanism also works well. The whole thing appears to work rather nicely. So somebody maybe just salvaged the power cord for something else. Working Sony VCR. Not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to do some more cleaning and hopefully this keeps working. So our Sony VCR seems to work perfectly fine. Picture quality is a bit so-so, but I think that's just my tape. That's not the best quality. It's pretty much worn out, I guess, because people watched Star Wars a whole lot. But yeah, this is a working VCR and kind of refurbished at this point, which is nice, obviously. So the only thing left to do is to find myself a proper remote control for this, because usually on these units you can't control everything via the control panels that are on the unit. There's probably more functions. It would be difficult to program this on an RF channel and things like that. Set the clock. Everything is done from the remote on these usually. So yeah, you can use this in this state as a video playback and recording device, obviously, and that should work perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. This was my favorite one because, as I said, I'm a Sony fanboy. And this, I think, is also the better built unit in general, overall. Cable tie these down a bit so they don't get caught anywhere. I'm going to clean the top half of the case a bit before I close this up, but then we're good to go. And I'm going to have to look for a remote. Okay, didn't take into account that the strain relief is bigger on the top side as well. So I'm going to have to do some modifications. Yeah, I'm going to cut out a piece here. So I'm going to try to bend this and file this in a way so that my strain relief fits this. Yep, that should be enough. Well, it's not perfect, but it fits well enough. Can do some more cleaning with the Q-tip in these corners here. But the case closes again and we're going to put some screws in. Yeah, there you have it. One working Sony VCR. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. I managed to get one working VCR out of the two I found on the side of the road. Pretty happy that it's this one, the Sony one. I like this one better from the beginning. I'm going to be looking for a suitable remote control. Kind of want an original one, but there are replacements available for very inexpensive on eBay and elsewhere. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative and somewhat entertaining. As I said, I'm not a professional considering VCRs, but I think I got the basic functionality of it down correctly. I'm sure you're going to correct me in the comments if I was wrong in some places. But yeah, pretty happy to have this, and I'm looking forward to refurbishing some CRT televisions that accumulated here in the lab over the years. That's going to be something for future videos. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your support on Patreon and on the channel memberships page, and also on Ko-fi and PayPal. I hope to see you again on this channel. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!